Why, hello there. If you don't already recognize my sultry voice, this is DJartt of the High Score 510 podcast. First of all, I would like to thank you for listening to our show. Second of all, I want to remind you with a shameless plug of our Patreon page. Join our growing community and help support an indie podcast. The perks of being a patron, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Number one, you'll get our weekly quick hitters. Number two, you'll get feature conversations that are too hot for our regular show. And number three, we cannot leave out number three. Why, Jesus will bless you. So go check out patreon.com/highscore510. And for the price of a tall pumpkin spice latte, you can help Captain P-Funk finally afford that Merlot Broham he's been wanting ever since he saw it in The Great White Hype. Regardless of which, we appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the show. You are listening to High Score 510, where real talk is our vernacular.
Shout out to PJ Tucker, who really worked for it. Because many people would just be like, all right, it wouldn't have been good enough to like try to come back and play the league again.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, I give it. No, I'm hating on PJ Tucker and I'm who riding him, right? But at the same time, I respect what PJ Tucker has done to stay in the league and maintain his position. I also understand that he went to a place that was going to use him in a way that was going to maximize his ability, but also it was going to sell him false hope.
Yeah.
Because this fool thinks he's like, I ain't get paid enough. Like, bruh, do you know what you're able to do? Like, just because you're willing to do that, don't mean you was good at it.
That's like, you know what? PJ Tucker's that house slave that like, you know what? It's that house slave that's willing to do everything, like Steven in Django, right? He's willing to do everything the master say. So then all of a sudden, but unlike Steven, all of a sudden PJ Tucker like, you know what? Can I get a room in the big house? I mean, it could be in the bottom or back of the big house. Can I get a room? It's like, no, dude, no. The reason we have you here is you willing to do everything without question.
I am tired, guys. It's been a long one for me, guys. I rode like 25, 30 miles yesterday on a bike. That was...
What would you do that for? What's the purpose of riding that far on a bike, Jared?
Oh, man, it's just being outside. It's a beautiful day, man. We had nasty weather on Friday, and it was just like, I was outside. It was like 70 degrees.
Hold on. I just
clear sky.
For all of our listeners that don't live in the Bay Area, it drizzled for 20 minutes on Friday.
Exactly. That was not nasty at all. It was nasty because it didn't wash the crap off my sidewalk.
Hold on. That was more than 20 minutes. It like for the whole evening, there was like random like little showers.
That was not rain.
That wasn't like crazy rain, but it's also windy. And it was just kind of like nasty, kind of like gray, dark skies. It was
fall weather.
It was enough rain to clean the ginkgo biloba nut sacks off the sidewalk enough for it not to smell like shit and vomit. So that I count that as rain. It is Thanksgiving. This is going to be our Thanksgiving episode, y'all. So I don't know if y'all celebrate Thanksgiving.
Shout out to Christopher Columbus.
And
wait, hold on. Is Christopher Columbus Thanksgiving or is that the Pilgrims? It's the Pilgrims.
Yeah. He wasn't the Christopher Columbus.
he was a sailor, a naval person. He's basically a pirate. He's a mercenary that was willing to go to new places.
He was a licensed pirate.
Yeah.
It's funny how the difference between being a pirate and being one of the missionaries and people who discovered are really the same. One's just licensed and one isn't. It's like, it's like if I go to Iowa cornfields, there's some people who like crop dust their crops who don't have a pilot's license, right?
Yeah.
Like you might call them a name.
It's like, we colonizing you with why Jesus. Yeah, I heard something about something with the Catholic Church. Two popes knew if they basically Rick Pitino themselves.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino.
Paterno?
The investigation is going on, but basically two popes had heard about this one cardinal and abuses that happened in the 70s during their terms and didn't do anything about it. And it's starting to come to a head, it sounds like. So keep an eye out on that. You might see some statues taken down at the Vatican. But anyways, all right, Albert, I need a letter.
A letter? Oh, was letter B.
Ooh. All right. Did we do B recently? I feel like I did it recently, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say this, Jared. Sesame Street's been on for 50 seasons. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. They figured it out. They've done.
I should do a theme. Okay. Okay. All right.
I did the letter of the day for 35 years.
All right. Here we go. Bagels, blankets, bubbles. Baba Yagas. John Wick.
You did, B. I remember now because you said that. Yeah.
The Baba Yaga. Yes. Hey, y'all, check out John Wick trilogy.
Badass.
That little Boosie B got. We'll talk about that a little bit later, Albert. You heard about that?
Nah, Lil Boosie B.
Lil Boosie got shot yesterday.
Oh yeah, in the leg, right?
He got shot in the leg.
Dude. Benny the Butcher got shot in the leg in Texas too.
Yeah, Mo 3. I don't know who Mo 3 is.
Hold up, that Dallas dentist got shot too. He does all the girls for the hip hop artists out there.
They don't. Somebody got mad. Somebody's mad about some dealings. I don't know.
I think.
I don't even talk about it. They ain't even got the dentist now, bro. I ain't playing with them. I ain't saying nothing.
It has some MAGA tinge to it. I think they got some actors to act on behalf of MAGA.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us at High Score 510 on the Instagram, the YouTube, and eventually at some point, the Twitter, whenever we not banned no more. You can also catch us at patreon.com/High Score 510. Check out our Patreon page. You can get all our exclusive content, our feature conversations. Next thing to be posted up will be our full conversation with Professor Stephen Cleveland of Cal State East Bay, who was on with us last week. And the full interview and the full conversation, which is about an hour long, will be up on our Patreon. And we are here with...
This is Aaron Grayson III, also known as AG3, coming at you faster than someone from the Bay Area telling you they rode 20 miles yesterday.
Before we begin the double Jeopardy round, I'd like to ask our contestants once again, please refrain from using ethnic slurs. That said, let's take a look at the scores. Sean Connery has set a new Jeopardy record with negative $230,000.
You think you're pretty smart, don't you, Trebek? What with your dago mustache and your greasy hair?
Look, what did I just say about ethnic slurs?
I was going to say, do you realize we lost Alice Trebek and Sean Connery, who both are in that bit, making fun of in that bit in like span of 36 hours? Now he's stuck with Steve Harvey hosting game shows, getting all the answers wrong. Can't read the damn cue card.
And we are here with...
Hey, what's going on? This is Brandon, aka Taco Pablo. I'm just trying to come at you like a house, like a U.S. House candidate, talking about CrossFit.
Back again, Burt Reynolds in a commanding lead with $14.
Hey, check out the podium. Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Great. Let's take a look at the final board. And the categories are potent potables, sharp things, movies that start with the word Jaws, a petit déjeuner. That category is about French phrases, so let's just skip it.
Hey, I speak a little French. You're an ass bite. Pardon my French.
Oh, Jesus. All right. And we are here with...
your boy Slim from the Slim Task podcast, from the V101 on-air personality from Yo Mama's house. I'm joking. Yeah, it's me. What's up?
Burt Reynolds.
That's not my name.
Okay. Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, what do you want?
You buzzed in.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion.
I hate my job. The answer was mustard. Mustard is made from mustard seeds.
And my name is Jared, a.k.a. DJartt, with 2 T's for a double dose of that ting ting. The D is silent, so it's just Jartt.
Let's just go to animal sounds for 600. This is the sound a doggy makes. Mr. Connery.
Moo.
No.
Well, that's the sound your mother made last night.
Okay, that's not necessary. Burt Reynolds.
Who is Scooby-Doo?
No.
Yeah. That was a funny dog, Scooby-Doo. He drove around a van and solved mysteries.
That is incorrect.
No, that's correct. I remember you had a pal, Scrappy-Doo.
No. Good Lord. We would have accepted Bow Wow or Ruff.
Oh, rough. Just the way your mother likes it, Trebek.
All right. Man, I was walking through a bunch of those last night, trying to figure out which ones I wanted to use. It's too much good stuff
like
on
that's
there.
why you tired. You trying to say it's for all these miles on the bike. It's because you've been up all night watching YouTube videos.
And you know, it's also another thing. Miles and milligrams. That'll do it to you. Miles and milligrams. I had some edibles too.
So do you get high before the ride or after the ride?
It's usually like before, during, and after. So it was good. It was a good time. It was a good time. Vallejo was beautiful yesterday. Y'all should check it out. Go to Vallejo. I know somebody who will show you around and talk your ear off. Shout out to Dave Bella for sponsorship.
Wait, hold up. You rode your bike from Oakland to Vallejo?
Oh no. Oh hell no.
Oh.
No. So Albert, man, it's been a while since you've been on the show. You know what I'm saying? How have things been in your world since the last time we seen you?
Well, you know, just quarantining, man. You know, not going out, trying to stay safe, keep the family safe, washing hands, wearing masks, staying away from white people. You know,
beautiful white people. You got another addition to the family now, because I think it was about a year ago last time you were on.
It probably was. Yeah. I got a son now who's a year. Yep.
That's what's up. That's what's
Little
up.
crumb snatcher running around just deboing me for food.
Brandon is about to be a father to two soon, coming up. When is Nicole due, Brandon?
Mid-January.
Mid-January. So
hopefully they stay in there till then.
So he's like, we need more time. Hold on.
Congrats.
Yeah,
man. So
thank you.
So yeah, man. Tell us about this new project you're working on. You number one, remind us, tell everyone your main job, your money and macking job.
My money and macking job.
And then tell us about this other project that that we just learned about, and we love to hear a little more about this podcast that you're working on.
Yeah, man. So I got a lot of projects. I do music as well. I rap. On-air personality, V101 Sacramento Throwback Station. Holla at your boy, midnight 6 a.m. I'm on the late nights, but you can still holla at me. Also got the podcast I just launched with my homie Alex Tasker. It's a current event podcast. So we just talk about current events with a comedic twist.
What's the name of the podcast again?
The Slimm and Task Podcast.
Slimm and Task Podcast. And you guys are on every platform pretty much?
Every platform, anyone. We haven't been banned yet, like y'all. Aren't y'all get banned?
He said, all right, here's the
Why you got to throw the salt in the wound like that, Albert?
Here's the thing. Everybody says we get banned. None of my tweets have been taken down. 0% of my tweets are down.
I take full responsibility though, I take full. We got a hot water the first time on Twitter. One of the first times was on I responded on one of Albert's tweets when I was talking about your boy Drake. And somebody reported me for calling him high yellow. So I'm sorry.
What are you serious?
I love Drake, man.
Some people love Drake.
Well, see, Albert, I figured out why. Because what was the second time, Jared? Tell me the second time.
Well, so the first time was Albert's tweet, and I said he looked like a high yellow Eddie Munster because he looked like it. And then the second time I called Shaq a Negro, and it was like a live tweet roast on like Bleacher Report, so you could tweet in and roast Shaq because he had a crazy haircut, and I said his hairline looked like the tectonic plates. But I said this Negro's hairline looked like, and then somebody reported us, and we got banned for another week.
Albert, this is the problem. See, Jared doesn't understand that there's a thing called audiences, right? See, I I blame the Bay Area on this, Brandon. I'm sorry. I don't want to throw you in this, Brandon, but I blame the Bay Area because it's such a closed circle that, you know, you can get away with saying things in any circle out here that you can't in other groups in other places, right? So while Jarrett is trying to, you know, in the Bay Area, Jarrett can be part of this woke society, progressive left, right? And still use the N-word. And they're like, oh, okay. The problem is Twitter goes beyond Jarrett's social bubble, right? So he thinks it's okay to call someone a Negro, or like this last one, to put up the name of the game, Negro, the other N-word, and necromancer. And then next thing you know, it was a black woman from Canada that feels offended, right? And it's like, Jarrett, man, of course you're going to feel offended.
Well, you don't want, you said that. You said she don't even count, though. She only count as a black person, bro.
Exactly. While I'm talking in this circle, I ain't gonna go to the White House saying some shit like that. Cause I'll be some shit. Hey, that black Canadian girl don't count, Kamala. So you know what? You better be on your toes. You know, I'll be like doing some shit like that, right? Like I'm quick to take motherfuckers' black card away, right? Yeah, I can say that in this circle, but Twitter isn't this circle, Jarrett, right? So when you call Shaq a Negro, it's on Barstool Sports that started in Boston. You're going to get some progressive white racists out there that's like, nah, he can't use that word. I got in trouble for using that word in 7th grade. He can't use it, right?
I like how he said some progressive Boston racist.
They all racist in Boston. If it wasn't for Boston racism, we wouldn't have gotten New Edition.
If it wasn't for Boston racism, I wouldn't have learned about the great feats of that beautiful black man, Red Auerbach, on Black History Month.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
Black History Month spotlight, Red Auerbach. I was like, what?
They spotlighted Red Auerbach. It's a progressive racism. It's a leftist progressive racism. It ain't a normal racism, which makes it worse. But you can at least laugh at it, which is good. If it wasn't for that, New Edition wouldn't have grown up in them projects in Boston. We wouldn't have had New Edition.
Yeah.
Bobby wouldn't have met Whitney.
Back to Albert's podcast.
Sorry, we hijacked your intro to your podcast.
It's all good.
So yeah, what inspired you to start this podcast though? What was it that finally made you say, "I'm just gonna do this. Let's do this" with your co-host?
Man, I see so many people with podcasts, and I was like, shit, might as well. I got a lot of stuff I want to say that's outside of music and stuff, and on my radio show, I do my interviews with other artists and people in the community and stuff like that, and I can kind of get my voice out there, but this is one where it's just, it's just me and the homie Alex too, but it's just us. And we just get to say what we got to say. Nobody chiming in and disagreeing, man. I like being able to say what you have to say and nobody being like, hey, but actually, I disagree with that. But like, no, this is my platform. I say it. I want to say it.
I feel you.
Y'all kind of inspired me too, except ours ain't 3 hours long. We're not a mixture of Joe Buttons and Joe Rogan.
How long yours lasts? Tell me how long it lasts, Albert. That's what inspires me right there.
Man,
you just inspired me and Brandon right there.
We don't do all the, like, since ours is current events, it's easier to do 45 minutes, right? Because we're just talking about basically politics or, it's like just current events. Y'all wide range everything. Y'all do current events, music, entertainment, random shit, music waves getting hit to your ear.
Yeah. I mean, we are a Aaron is our techie guy here, and so he gets
the 44-year-old's a techie guy.
That's how backwards we are.
He gonna let you know every new Apple product that coming out. He might not know how to use it, but you gonna find out from Aaron because he's staying on it. He's our tech advisor.
He's like the oldest person, the techie person.
Well, he's like our cell phone / gaming system techie guy. He knows about all the stuff coming out way before I do. He's one like, hey man, you hear about that? I'm like, oh, that sounds tight. He basically updates me whenever there's a new game or a new console coming out. So I don't know. Maybe we are a little backwards.
You just name a bunch of kid shit there. You have to get some real stuff, man. Like you naming all the kid stuff. I did go to GameStop yesterday and get the old school Nintendo Game and Watch. Right here. So yeah, I mean, Video games, yeah, but not no technology. I wouldn't put you make it sound all fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron's our technology guy. Really, he just sit at home in his underwear playing video games during COVID.
In news this week, via London AP, Novetto Systems, an Israeli company, debuted a desktop device which uses sound beaming technology to give surround sound or three-dimensional sound without the use of headphones. This desktop device uses the new technology to project the sound at your ears because it scans for your ears and head movements. So it sends the music directly in and around your head so that you can listen to something without headphones or without disrupting the neighbors around you. What do y'all think about that?
I have the same opinion about this as when they opened up the new Bay Bridge span. I'm gonna let a few people test that out before I try it. I think there's gonna be several pop eardrums. I'm gonna get the third generation. That's what I'm gonna do.
And is that one of those things you think really gonna be out? I mean, think about how many things aren't around that we heard so much about and they put a lot of money and resources into, such as Google Glass.
Yeah.
Things.
Like I remember Google Glass when they were trying to demo it at the Academy of Sciences and make it seem like it was about to be super tight. And I was like, this seems yeah, we was like, I paid for these overpriced drinks and this stupid demo. This ain't that tight. I was like, I went to KB Toys and had a better goggle system than this. I was like, man, I don't need that.
You might pick up the old viewer that you have to snap down.
Yeah.
This one I put this in the ranks of Google Glass. Like, we had the iPhone, which we never heard about, and then all of a sudden hit us with it. Mm-hmm. And being able to, all the technology being online, this and that, and bringing out the smartphone. And then you got this Google Glass is. It's like, whenever they have to talk about it, it's usually not happening.
Yeah. I am. They say that they're planning to release the first edition in 2021, December, or a year from now, basically.
I don't like. What's the need for it? Why? Why?
Because that way you don't have to put things in your ears or cover your ears.
Nah, man, I don't want anything being into my ear. That doesn't even sound.
They're using ultrasonic waves to beam it from the device to your head. It follows your ears.
That would be dope if you could do that for cars that play the music way too loud after 2 a.m. It'd be amazing. If you live in an apartment building, you could tame that sound just to your apartment. That'd be amazing.
And we ain't got
that actually be dope for some house parties too. Neighbors don't know nothing that's going on. You just have 100 of those beaming things playing the same music.
Sound like that's a house party that's gonna have a great class action civil lawsuit on brain damage and cancer.
everyone got cancer, and everyone went deaf or started getting bloody noses.
Hey man, Bluetooth ain't been out that long to do a real study on it yet, man. We might already have it.
You talk about Bluetooth cell phones, Negro. Oh shit! All of it. We don't know. Well, yeah, I'm a little worried because I feel like they're like, this is like conspiracy brother, like to the 10th degree. Like they can beam sounds directly to your head. I guarantee you they've used this technology or they're studying this technology as like a form of weaponry. This is for sure going to be bought by the military very soon.
If they ain't already got it. They probably already have it and just let other people use it.
It's really
just gets all that stuff before everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
It probably was developed for the military, and they're like, we could turn this into a moneymaker on the market. Conspiracy, brother.
Just be careful with this because you smoke too much, it's going to have you all paranoid and shit. It takes a while to build up a tolerance like mine. What? Did you hear that? Shh, shh. Hey, y'all, you hear something? Shh, quiet. Shh. There it goes again.
Stop all those Black Lives Matter protests in a second. You just give everybody no more tear gas. Just everybody's head hurts.
You guys gonna buy it when it comes out next year?
Nope.
Nah.
You act like the shit gonna be cheap.
Aaron will buy it if Apple buys it and puts an Apple sticker on.
If they put a Steve Jobs turtleneck on it, Aaron will buy it.
A lot of people were shocked. So my sister sent me. I want to go against that. My sister sent me a thing. It was like, Aaron, join this class action law. You get money back for like a certain phone that they had that kept the one that kept slowing down or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When your battery was low or something. And she's like, sign up for it. And I look it up and I'm like, I never owned none of those phones. Right? It was like 3 phones in a row. And she was like, "You sure?" And everybody kept hitting me up. "You sure you didn't own it?" Dude, I know I got a lot of Apple products, but I don't buy them all, right? I was like, you think I've only had 4 phones. I had the original iPhone when it first came out, and I had that for years. I didn't get another iPhone to iPhone 4. I went from 4 to something, I don't know what number, but I never had a 6, 7, 8, 9, none of those. And so I just want to let the people know that while I do like Apple products, I don't buy all Apple products. Someone hit me up one day and said, "Hey, Aaron, can I get your Apple Watch? Yeah, can I buy it off of you?" And I'm like, "I just got it like a few months ago." And they're like, "Well, a new one's coming out." Like, I'm not one of those people that stand in line at Apple. I might stand in line for a PlayStation. I ain't stand in line for no Apple. The problem is they know they can make more money by adding more new stuff to new phones. Like either they change the size or all of a sudden the camera's super dope. Now they got like Dobly technology in cameras. I'm like, on phone, I'm like, that's amazing. Too bad I'm not a film producer. What the hell I'm gonna do with this? I'm gonna take my mom opening a birthday gift?
Yeah.
Dobly? My mom be mad. They be like, "Man, why you show all these cracks in my face in this picture?" I can't help it, Mom. That's the
Can you give Aaron a magic moment?
Yeah.
It's Dolby. You kept saying Dobly.
I told you I'm not a film producer. How am I supposed to know something else?
All right, hold
you act
on,
like that's
man.
a word I use every day in my vernacular. Like, oh man, I just mentioned Dobly like 6 times yesterday.
I'm not gonna be here.
This magic moment.
I didn't even catch that one, Aaron. I was saying Doble too. I was like Doble. I don't know. Albert, you gonna get it? You gonna get it for the family so y'all can all watch your separate movies on separate tablets without having to have headphones in?
That's what headphones are. I don't know why. What's so wrong with headphones?
Hey, I'm a big fan of headphones. Albert, trust me this. If Radio Raheem had headphones, wouldn't he still be alive today?
That's true.
I say that all the time. Every time Jarrett walks around with that stupid fanny pack and speaker, I said, Jarrett, there's a reason they created headphones. If Radio Raheem had headphones, he'd still be alive. Mookie would still have a job because he wouldn't have thrown no trash can through a window. You ever think about that? What happened to movie characters if the movie was real life and they had to still exist now in time? Mookie would probably still be playing Rosie Perez. He'd finally be happy because the child is finally 18, so he ain't got to pay child support because he knowing his shit was getting garnished because he lost his job the minute he threw that trash can through Sal's window. And Radio Raheem will still be alive. He'll be Jarrett. He'll be walking around with the fanny pack and a JBL speaker.
He'd be like, "Man, this Bluetooth is out the hook."
What?
Mookie would still be with Rosie Perez.
Spotify, I can make my own mixtape on a playlist. This thing don't even, it's in the cloud.
I will say the headphones need to do better about music sharing. You should be able to broadcast your music to several headphones at the same time.
Brandon,
you can do it. You can do it to multiple.
Move up to your Apple products, Brandon. That's what I'm saying. You can do that with Apple, dude.
Hey, shout out to JBL sponsorship. You can link these bad boys together and have it playing. Have your song playing from multiple of them.
But you talk about JBL. I'm talking about just Bluetooth devices.
You got to pay. So that's what I'm saying. This sound beam technology, they're gonna have the upscale where they can be like, I want you to beam this song to like 8 different people in this room with me, and we just gonna beam it. So it's not like super loud in this room, but we all gonna be hearing the same thing or watching the same video and being able to hear it without it being on some bad big speaker. That's just tight. But if you want to get the economy version, they can only beam it to one head at a time versus multiple.
Hey, can you still hear people?
Yeah, so the immersion of it is that it's supposed to make it to where like where you have headphones in, a lot of times you gotta pull your headphones out or turn them off because you can't hear people. This is supposed to be like it's surround sound, so it's in your head, but you can also still interact with people and people won't hear it, but you can still hear them potentially.
So you can be like, "Hey, what's going on, y'all? Nah, we good up in here. What you doing?"
I'm still unsure, yeah.
Music up in here, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like if I want it to be like bumping in my ears though, where I don't want to be able to hear nobody. How are they not still gonna be able to hear that?
But I think a big thing about having headphones is people know they can't talk to you, so you just put the headphones on. Yeah. Otherwise, if I don't have headphones on, people will just think that's an invitation to come talk to me on the train or walking down the street or at the gym.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a good indicator of my interest in being in a conversation.
Yeah. One thing I did see is that I think the CEO compared this technology. It's hard to comprehend, he said, because it's so revolutionary or whatever. And he kind of equated to like, I think smartphones and iPhone came around. Nobody knew like how it would change the way we use phones. You know what I'm saying? But like once people saw how it worked, then they're like, oh, so he thinks that as soon as people start to understand how this works and the different dimensions or capacities you could use it in, it's going to be like taken up real quick.
Pretty sure that's the same thing with Google Glasses, huh?
That's
exactly.
Everyone will be walking around here looking like a bunch of dweebs with these shitty looking, plastic looking ass glasses on.
Man, Google Glasses, it's a great idea, and I think that's where it's going, right? Like, I think you just put on these glasses or these contacts in the next few years, and like be able to enter without having to look at your phone all the time. Just be like, all right, cool, I'm going this place. They just give you these indicators in your face.
Do you want people doing that shit while driving, Brandon?
Make a left turn.
I got my Google contacts on there. Somebody called me.
Dude, it'd be like Terminator
while driving.
It'd be like Terminator. Like when they go in like Terminator view, like POV, and just all these stats on the right side. Like, oh man, your heart rate is like
that dude had a futuristic processor as a brain.
I know, yeah. People
can barely drive now.
People can barely read. They're like, what is all these numbers?
It's all coming together at the same time, like self-driving cars.
Brandon, that shit ain't been working, Brandon.
Brandon, that couldn't work. Let me just tell you why Terminator Review couldn't work. You want to know why? Because every time something crashes on my computer and they want me to send a report and I see the report, I have no idea what all the numbers and different graphs mean. It's like, I'm like, just okay, accept. I was like, if you expect me to read this ST:04 compact, I was like, I don't know what that means. I hope it's not bad. Send a report to Apple. Apple, make sure this is not bad. You be over there with Google Glass looking at all these numbers scrolling down your face. You be calling customer support 24/7. It's like, I don't know what these means. We have some fan mail today. Fan mail from RCO2. Tony Larussa, the next White Sox manager. He hasn't had a team this black since the 80s with the Oakland A's. Ricky Henderson, Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, Dave Stewart, Tony Phillips, and then there's Luis Polonia, and they only added him because he had a Jerry curl, apparently. But he is Dominican and was joined by his countrymen Felix Jose and Stan Javier. I believe LaRussa is an undercover a-hole and probably a Trump supporter, but he does love animals. As a manager from a different generation, possibly 2 generations ago, going into one of the most Latin and black teams in the league at age 70, how do you think this will go?
It's already started off horribly.
Oh, yeah. News update. It came out this week that Tony LaRussa was pulled over for DUI in February. And during the stop, he said, I'm a Hall of Famer person. Don't you see my ring? Don't you see my rings?
He's just so out of touch with reality. And nowadays, you know, it's the same person who went off a couple months ago, he went off on one of the White Sox celebrating. There's only one of his black players celebrating, right? Went off on how he's celebrating when he was commentating on TV. Now he has to coach the person, and he hasn't even called him to try to mend fences because he really went off on the dude.
Shout out to Tim Anderson sponsorship.
And Tim Anderson said he hasn't reached out to me. Tim Anderson ain't reaching out to him, and I wouldn't either. I'm like, dude, I'm in the position I was in. They just hired you. You should be reaching out and he hasn't. Then we find out about the DUI. He's trying to get out of that. Lost touch, man. He lost touch with reality in baseball a long time ago. I don't know why baseball overhyped, like, and go by some of the rules and standards. He said he created the stupid stage stack that somehow baseball fought. I don't know what happened in baseball to make people say, let's listen to this dude.
Shout out to that sponsorship. Also, this week update, Marcus Stroman, a prominent black pitcher, came out and said, no amount of money will get me to play for that dude.
He went ahead and re-up with this team because of that. He was looking forward to free agency. He said, I want to go to the winter.
Yeah,
and that was the team you think he was like slated to go to. That was one of the teams that they thought he was going to go to until they hired Tony LaRussa.
And they need starting pitching. They need it bad. What do you think, Brandon?
I don't know. It's like I'm really trying to assess the situation because, like, I don't think Chicago is trying to leave Chicago. This is the kind of move you make when you try to leave the town. Like, oh man, like the Colts before they went to Baltimore, or the Browns before they went to Baltimore, or the Colts before they went to Indianapolis. It's the kind of move you make for that. But you know, I will say, hopefully, he's more of a Dick Vermeil than Dusty Baker or Art Shell, and bring it back to the Raiders. Hopefully, he's just been out of the game for a minute. Hopefully, he still knows baseball. I don't expect him to hang out with his players, which I don't know why any of the players would want to hang out with a 78-year-old dude, white dude. Anyway, it's a real get out situation.
I think he still knows the game. it's going to be just tough for him to connect to his players, man. Because nowadays it's all about connecting to your players, being able to relate to them, understand, not even relate, being able to understand them. If he can't do that, then he's going to have a hard time if he loses, the dugout. If he loses the clubhouse, it's going to be tough. And it's looking like he started off on a bad foot already.
I wonder if he's going to be able to adapt. Like, the games do pass coaches by, players by, especially coaching, because you can do it over decades, right? But I do want to say, he was kind of revolutionary. Tony LaRussa was really pushing the limit. He created that. What was that stat, Aaron?
Save stat. He created it. Then actually before the save stat was around, but you had to pitch more innings. And he also was the one that came up with the unwritten rule that pitchers shouldn't pitch more than 100 pitches.
Yeah.
Which before that, they easily threw.
But I think he helped, evolve baseball. He was a forward thinker. You think about that. So he created the save stat, and another way he helped advance the game is he also oversaw like the expansion of different forms of nutrients and products and what's that thing? Steroids that people could take to get better in baseball. He oversaw and endorsed that with his clubhouse. He pushed the narrative. So I think maybe he's coming in with a new trick up his sleeve this time around. He's like, he was able to get them all on steroids. He got that squad balling on roids. Nobody else is doing it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I will say the more you talk about him, the more he sounds like he needs to be in a museum. At a baseball game or the dugout. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, you're like, oh man, he did this to advance the game. Sounds like he's talking about John Madden or Howard Cosell or somebody like that. Somebody who was just, because I guess he was coaching back then too. But
he was, yeah.
Well, it brings the question, like, not to change the subject, but really talk about like what's worse, like the recycling of coaches in the MLB or in the NBA? Because I'm like, well, there's a lot of coaches you could have hired in the MLB. Whether or not it's like somebody like an Ozzie Guillen or somebody like that.
Oh no, he not getting no coaching jobs no more. Ozzie Guillen.
Who's had coaching jobs recently, right? So like, I know he's coached the team before, but like, yeah, there's a lot of coaches you could have hired. Or I don't know if the talent pool is that shallow as far as like MLB managers, where you had to reach and like, who we're gonna get? We're gonna get Tony LaRussa. I've always wanted to hire him. It kind of sounds like it's more like an Al Davis move. Like, man, like he would get people like on the last year of their career. Like, well, let's get Richard Seymour. He was good. He was Rookie of the Year 15 years ago or something like that. Like, it just seems like an odd move.
It sounds kind of like Mike Singletary when he hired that his offensive coordinator who was from like the 1940s.
Around 46.
I said we running this 13 personnel, the 31 personnel, and we're doing a sweep or a dive. Dude, it's like man, we ain't got no wide receivers on the field right now, Stevie Ray. Like, nah, ball control.
What's that guy name
we
again?
got 6 Mike Allstats. Was
it Stevie Ray or something that I forgot who was
Jimmy Ray.
Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray. His name was Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray. This is this old black dude. Yeah.
Got Jim Bob and Bill Bob. Can't get all the Bobs right.
All right. Well, moving on. So Tony LaRussa, gonna be a shit show or gonna be success?
It's rough. I think, it's gonna be a shit show.
Running in place.
Who's the coach of the Cavaliers that came from college?
David Blatt? No. Oh, David Blatt.
The one this past year.
Oh no,
they hired him from college.
Yeah, he came from Michigan.
Oh, Beeline.
I hired him and they went backwards.
Yeah, John Beeline.
John Beeline.
I think the players will still talk about some old school stuff for like 2 weeks. They'd be like, all right, man.
He couldn't be late. He thought it was college still.
Go back to college.
He's like, he thought they were the same age as his college players, but he don't know the difference between somebody getting, when you're getting $1 million for a year and you getting nothing. You just trying to hopefully your meal card worked.
What you think, Albert? Doo-doo party?
It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a shit show.
It's like all the free doo-doo butter you can want, baby. In other baseball news, the Miami Marlins made waves in a beyond just a sports impact by hiring Kim Ng Eng to be their general manager. She is the first woman or female general manager in any of the major American sports, and is the first in baseball, of course, obviously. She served as assistant GM for two teams, the Yankees and the Dodgers. Most recently, she was serving as the senior vice president of baseball operations for the MLB. What do you guys think about that?
Damn. I didn't know she was all that. That's a deep-ass resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it spans 30 years.
She was like 20. Yeah, it started when she was in 20 in baseball. So, someone definitely knows. It's nice that they go by. Look, it's one thing when someone has the resume for all these years and never get the job, and it's nice that a woman. It's sad that it takes someone with that resume to get the job that a lot of people got without that resume. That's the thing. I was about to
say the same thing. It took all of that for her to get a GM job, and there's people that was the video play-by-play guy.
Exactly.
He did good cutting up this audio.
Yeah, exactly. He did good setting up our computer system.
Eric Spoelstra, thank God for you.
He majored in economics at Harvard. You keep saying that, and those guys keep getting jobs where she's been in part of the game for 30 years, and it's congratulations to her, congratulations to Miami. I hate, congratulations to people for finally thinking forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just years late.
But is it even thinking forward? Sometimes I be getting mad with the thinking forward thing. It's like, no, she actually deserves that shit. Like, it's not even thinking forward. It's like the best person that got it finally got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just say it's thinking forward because it's better than the backwards thinking they've been doing for the last hundreds of years, right?
Mm.
Well,
but you're right. You're right. It really isn't thinking forward. You're just hired the best person, which you should have been doing all the time.
Yeah, hear me out. I got a conspiracy here. So, Derek Jeter, man. Derek Jeter. I like him. Derek Jeter, right? What's that dude's name who played that dude in Shaft?
Come on, man. That's your boy Peoples Hernandez being played by Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
I thought he was a real Puerto Rican.
I thought he was real Dominican Puerto Rican too.
When I saw him play Martin Luther King in his next role, I was like, man, this dude can act.
Is this it? Anyways, here's my conspiracy. Hear me out. Derek Jeter, man, saw that the White Sox hired Tony Larussa to try and kill black people saving baseball in Chicago, right? A very black city, right? A historically very colorful city of blackness and segregation and redlining and historical racial injustice and hate. But anyway, we ain't gonna get into that. But he saw Tony Larussa and Derek Jeter in his woke being the greatest high yellow mulatto man to play ball ever in New York. Saw they were trying to kill black people saving baseball in Chicago. So he hired Kim Eng to come in and balance out the fact that they were trying to bring in Tony LaRussa to take us back another 40 years. Conspiracy, brother.
Hell, y'all don't give a shit about me. I'm a new sponge band.
That's definitely your bottom percentiles of conspiracies, Jared.
Okay, wait, hold on. Wait, Jared, I'm confused here. So Derek Jeter brought in an Asian woman to save black people?
No. To keep progress alive.
Oh, okay.
Keep progress alive.
I was trying to figure out where these strings attached to.
Derek Jeter is for sure a deep level, like third degree conspiracy brother for sure.
High? What you mean high? Like high yellow wanna be white?
Derek Jeter, man.
Jeffrey Wright was his name. I don't know if I said Jeffrey or Michael. I can't remember.
You said Jeffrey, I think. You said Jeffrey.
I said Jeffrey.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so I think Derek Jeter saw this. He saw opportunity. He also had a background with her. She was with the Yankees as assistant GM during part of his playing time. He said that, working with Brian Cashman and knowing Brian Cashman so well, she was working with him. He brought her on. So he feels as though her knowledge, her experience, her championship pedigree are something that's going to really benefit Miami, and he thinks she deserves it, which rightfully it sounds is so. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think that this is a sign of baseball, though? Going on my conspiracy, do you think this is a sign of baseball with like the expanded playoffs, with black people saving baseball this whole season? Is baseball starting to catch up with basketball and football and some of the other major social sports around the world with some of their progressive or advancing decision making? What do you guys think? Because baseball has
I
been
mean-
because baseball has been behind. We gotta also preface that baseball has been behind. Everyone's saying it's dying because it's been behind. So is this step a big step for baseball catching up in a lot of those ways?
It sounds like all the sports behind. Didn't football just a week ago say they would give draft picks to whoever like nurture and kind of grow like African American or people of color through
in the
jobs?
NFL.
So I think they're all behind.
They're
I
all
can't say
behind.
they're catching up to no one.
Well, the NFL. So if you don't,
this is backwards too.
If you don't know about the NFL is doing, the NFL came out this week and said they're going to give compensatory picks to teams if they have any coaches or GMs that get hired on in a GM or a head coaching role to another team. They can receive potential compensatory picks, similar to if you develop a player and another team signs them from you and they were a role or more than a role player, but a big part of your roster, then you sometimes get compensatory picks for that. But NFL came out and changed up that rule this week. So
I don't know. It's hard to say like whether or not like I don't know what the percentages are of women who work in baseball and also how many people like apply for those kind of jobs, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what kind of experience you could have that will qualify you for that job unless you've been there for a while, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so like I don't know how close knit it is, right? Because like I don't know if you can go from being on the women's softball Olympic team or something like that, and then say, okay, cool, I'm gonna try to get a job as a manager in the MLB, right? Like I don't know if that's a lateral move, at least even socially or in as far as like skill level. So yeah, it's hard to really like picture like how difficult it is for her to get that job, just because I don't know how many women are actually in the MLB working as far as in scouting and as far as like player development. But yeah, man, it's good to see. I'm trying not to make as big a deal about her just being a woman to get in the job. Just they're like, all right, cool, she got the job. Let's see what she does, as opposed to somebody hiring Adam Gase again after he gets fired from the Jets. But, all right.
No, before he can get fired, get fired, they release him for his contract so he can go negotiate somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
What do you think, Albert? Do you think this is a big step for MLB to catch up in some of the modernizing its appeal, modernizing its game, modernizing its business?
Probably it's business, but the game, I mean, nobody's watching baseball for the GM. So, her being GM is not going to attract people to watch the game. Nothing against her, just in general. People don't watch GMs. People don't watch managers. They go to watch players. And they don't have enough electrifying players like a Mookie Betts, you know what I mean? Like who's like dope person in baseball is Mike Trout, and his personality is as vanilla as a sweater vest. You know what I'm saying? Like
Brandon likes the sweater vest.
I like sweaters, not the vest part. I feel like
he has nothing that galvanized. Like there's no more Ken Griffey Jr. It's like Ken Griffey Jr. was that person in baseball that made people he made me want to play baseball. And I can't hit a ball worth a goddamn. Like my hand-eye coordination is horrible. Mm-hmm. But Ken Griffey, how cool and smooth he was like, yo, I could do this. I could be Ken. But there's not a lot of people that's as good as him that has the swag that he has and has the personality and that could transcend into this generation of fast-paced sports that people like. I think they just need to get better talent with better personalities, or just, I mean, they have great talent. Don't get me wrong. Like baseball talent wise is insanely good right now. They just don't have personalities.
Yeah. They don't sell the personality very well. And then you give somebody like Freddie Freeman the MVP for the NL, when we all know it should have been the one brother who brought a title to LA, my boy Mookie Betts. Another example of black people saving baseball.
Well, I think baseball's issue is though, like if you go to like major league locker rooms or whatever, or even like baseball locker rooms, the baseball players are the craziest of all.
Dirtiest, filthiest dudes.
Like they're the ones that really do the crazy stuff. But at the same time, like when they're out on the field, like it's very much like a very buttoned up sort of idea. Like when they're actually playing the game, as opposed to off the field. Freddie
Freeman
does a good job of celebrating that.
Freddie Freeman, Steve Nash, my boy Mookie Betts, man. You know, Steve Nash, man. Come on now. Steve Nash always laying there with the towel around his neck, laying there on the sideline doing pelvic thrusts off his back, talking about, oh, my back hurts. No, you was out there acting a degenerate, probably sleeping around with beautiful white women all over the place.
What happened to you?
He had sex with a white girl, that's what.
Oh, was it everything I dreamed
It was
of?
good.
She had pink nipples, didn't she?
Big ones. Yeah, big ones.
Copy match the drapes.
Excuse me?
What do you guys think about some of these trade rumors? You know, Russell Westbrook is requested to leave Houston. Houston has had a tough time this offseason, this past season, losing their GM. Mike D'Antoni is not coming back. He left. And now the guy that was your prize that you traded all for, you got rid of your big man because you had a point guard who could rebound 10 times a game. So you got rid of Clint Capella because you didn't need somebody who would block shots or pick and roll and hold a team accountable in the middle. But anyways, they've lost so many parts. Is the Rockets tenure, is the Rockets run of even being relevant over? That's my question.
No, I think as long as you have one of the best offensive players in the league, James Harden, I think you'll be competitive. And it really wouldn't take much for them to get to the playoffs, right? If just him and Westbrook gets to the playoffs, it's just really a matter of like, okay, can they really compete? Like, I think at this point, they're basically where Portland is, right? They're good enough. They basically have to get a top tier team hurt. Like they have to play them while they're hurt in order to get to that next step. It depends on what style of basketball they're going to play. I don't think they would win with D'Antoni style basketball, and James Harden has to slow down or not hold the ball as much in order to be able to really develop players around him. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they've been successful with more veteran players coming in and like, all right, cool, you spot up and shoot. You know, you can do that as opposed to like having some talent that they developed around him that learn how to play with him just because they don't ever get the ball or any rhythm.
Well, honestly, 3 years ago, they were one Chris Paul hamstring away from beating the Warriors.
I don't know how that didn't factor into their math. Like this might happen, right?
Yeah.
I think they sold themselves out. Like it's hard because it was Daryl Morey. They really like Daryl Morey. The old ownership liked him. They hired him, and I give him credit, even though I think he ruined basketball with his sabermetric statistics. I gave him credit because this last year was selling out completely for his idea, right? Mm-hmm. They did the ultimate sellout, trading for away Clint Capella so you could get basically Robert Covington. They didn't bring in West. They had Westbrook with Capella still there. They traded Capella to get Covington because he Covington. He thought he was going to be like, he fits what they do. And what
they thought he was going to be Scottie Pippen without ball handling distribution skills.
Without ball. Exactly. Like everything else we do. This whole 3 and
D. He played D like Pippen. He can shoot the three a little bit. He can't distribute or handle the ball though.
Yeah. And so this is the reason I'm excited. I'm glad they got bounced out the playoffs the way they got bounced out. Because remember when they first traded away Capella, they played the Lakers and they blew the Lakers out. Lakers didn't know how to handle it, right? They tried to play their regular big lineup. It didn't work. So they caught a lot of teams by surprise, right? Remember, people chose them to beat the Lakers because they beat the Lakers twice with that small lineup. People said they're going to beat the Lakers in this playoff or it's going to go deep and this and that. And they ended up being 4-1, right?
Well, that game one, they caught them off guard again.
Game one. That's all it did. And that's what Daryl Morey, he sold out for his statistics. Will they be competitive? As long as they keep Harden, they'll be competitive. The question is, can a new general manager, can a new coach switch their mindset away from the sabermetric, right? Can they become a more complete basketball team? Because Chris Paul made them a little more complete. Like someone like Capella looks better with Chris Paul there. The minute Chris Paul's gone, and then you got Westbrook as your ball handler and all this, then Capella doesn't look as great. Now they just been passed up by Denver and Utah now, right?
So the question is James Harden relegated to being the new Damian Lillard? Carrying his team to that A seed every year.
I don't think James Harden's going to stay around to be the Damian Lillard. I think people I think James Harden's going to be better at trying to get other people to play with him as opposed to Damian Lillard said, I don't really get involved in GM decisions.
I don't know, man, because I think like
who would want to play with him?
I feel like James Harden has alienated Chris Paul and now his good friend who like was the reason we went to go play there is because we came into the league basically at the same time. We're homies. We're good friends. It didn't work out because you were the third fiddle at the time, and now you're the ace, and I'll come in and I'll be your 1B. And he played there with them, and now he wants out. That's Harden is his boy, and he really believes in him and Harden working together. He's not asking publicly to be traded. So,
but it's different when you lose the coach and you got a coach that you also don't believe in, and most of the rest of the team has already left, right? It's a different thing. You came into a situation everybody left, and I don't blame anybody for not getting along with Paul. Because
they changed that team for him.
My question is, like, you have James Harden, who was like basically being given the keys to the vehicle, and he was able to become record-breaking effective. And stats-wise, he put up some crazy numbers. Only a few other players have put up the numbers he was putting up over the last few years under D'Antoni's system, which I've always been critical of D'Antoni's system because during just like the minutia of the season, it's just like game after game, it works. When you get to crunch time and people really focus down game to game and possession to possession, is not as effective. It has not reaped the benefits, especially playing that small ball style. And so when you have a GM who's on board with that and is trying to emphasize that and basically curtails a roster to what they think your skill set is, as that star, you have some responsibility to greenlighting, getting rid of a Clint Capella, to putting PJ Tucker as your disgruntled center now who wants his contract to be up because he feels like he's given that team way more than what he's being paid for. So you have real, I guess there isn't a real order. And how much of that do you think falls on James Harden as the leader of that team? He's the man on that team. How much of this dysfunction in the team can you blame on Morey? Can you blame on D'Antoni? Or is more of it need to actually fall on James Harden?
No, man, I think D'Antoni did what D'Antoni does, right? It didn't work in New York or LA, but like they almost went to the finals with the Phoenix, right? And if they didn't have that fight and Stoudemire goes off the bench, who knows what happens, right? They were beating the Warriors and they almost won, right? It's one of those things, like, it's just sports. So sometimes those things don't necessarily fall in your favor. So to say, like, I would say D'Antoni and their system has been more successful than Philadelphia. They've been more successful than most other teams. Milwaukee, they've been more successful than Portland. They've been more successful than a lot of teams in the league. So I think
Brandon, I got to cut you off real quick. I'm not going to let you defend white fragility like that. Brandon. Don't get mad at Damon Stoudemire for his act of realizing that he had a white fragile superstar on his squad, and they had to act like they had to walk off the bench when he got hip checked. Barely.
Amari Stoudemire.
He barely got hip checked by Robert Horry. Robert Horry just boom, and he flopped hella hard, and everyone was like, "Oh, how dare you do that to that beautiful long-haired white man that does so many magical things with that ball in his hands? You don't do that to him." And in the response to white fragility, they stepped on the court, got themselves in trouble, right? And everyone blames that on him. Oh, you broke the laws of white fragility. Now we're going to bring this up every time something happens. And what would have happened had they not stepped one step over that line? It don't matter. You cannot defend white fragility like that, bro.
Hold on, step right there. It was the same thing. Like, that was the rule because of what happened in Detroit. Like, you can't have players walking in and escalating the situation. They need to make an example. And that was the best time to make the example.
The Detroit wasn't the problem with the people coming off the bench. The rule was already in place then.
Maybe it was before. I don't remember.
The Knicks versus Miami back in the day, in the 90s, that did it when PJ Butter flipped Charlie Ward over and slammed him down. And then that's when everybody got off the bench. And the rule was already created then. The rule was created because Bulls Knicks one year, the year that Jordan was gone, and Bulls Knicks got in a big major brawl during the playoffs. Yeah. And the Sports Illustrated had a picture of that. And David Stern was sitting like 4 rows up, and he's like, "Oh!" So that was when the rule was created. So really, the rule was already been in existence because we had the PJ Brown flipping that. That was when the only reason the Knicks lost that series is because they had so many people get off the bench. They had to suspend them, some for game 6 and the rest for game 7,
because they couldn't have everyone gone for the whole game.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
At that point, the Knicks were up 3-1, and that was game 5. That ruined the Knicks at that point. They lost the next 2 to Miami because everybody came off the bench. Then, like you said, then we have the Malice in the Palace. So the rule already existed then, right? And to be honest, Stoudemire and Boris Diaw, they didn't really run all the way on the court.
They just stepped out a little bit.
Yeah, they stepped out. They left. They were there by the scorer's table, but according to the rule, they got kicked.
But they were trying to defend his white, fragile body from being hip checked.
Come on.
There's certain dudes on the team can fight, and you need to watch out for those people because they're gonna get hurt.
He playing a game. He playing a brother's games. That's one way you earn your respect on the court. And it's not even street ball. I understand.
He already won the MVP. He had the respect. He also doesn't need to fight the dude.
I understand if they was playing at Rucker Park in that movie Above the Rim and somebody trying to check, Shep. But even what did Shep do? What did Leon, my boy Shep, do? What did he do? They was hacking him. What did he do though? I got this.
Your boy Shep, you know exactly what he did. I got a strap, dude.
No. Shep.
Shep kept playing.
And he was playing in khakis and a thermal, bruh. He didn't give a fuck.
And some old shoes.
Some old shoes. He came off the subway, dropped his work bag, put a jersey on over that thermal with the jeans on.
Hey, my boy Big Baby did that this weekend in the tournament.
We gonna get to Big Baby. Don't worry, we get to Big Baby. That Negro, dude, that was ridiculous. But all I'm saying is, you playing the brothers' games, man. You, like Robert Horry foul. I don't even know why we get on this tangent, but you triggered me. You triggered me in defense of white privilege, or the white fragility. But what I'm saying is, hey, he got hip checked, barely even hip checked. He embellished it, fell all over the place, and everyone's like, "We gotta protect." Nah, man, you playing a brothers' game. You go to the court and you get fouled hard. You play through it. Now, if they start doing it over and over and over again, then maybe somebody gonna step up. Then maybe you step up, Steve Nash, and you get in his face. Hey, man. All I'm saying is that you can't be out here defending that because that was some whack soft shit. And that was not even a hard foul. Like, you want to see some hard fouls? Don't get Aaron started on the 80s basketball, because Aaron will tell you about some 80s Big East fouls that used to happen back in the day.
Yep, that was some real foul. That was real basketball, man. That wasn't even a foul. By 80 standard, that wouldn't have been considered a foul. They might not even caught that.
Man, they would have been like, bro, we ain't doing no dances on the Soul Train, Robert Horry. This is basketball. Stop doing that. Robert Horry gave him a hip dap. He gave him the hip dap, and Steve Nash going to get over here, but I'm fragile. Anyway, so... Are the Rockets done?
I'm just gonna...
Cutty Corner shoutouts. Cutty Corner shoutouts is our segment we end the show with, where everyone gets the floor to complain, rant, or highlight something positive that they've been thinking about or is going on in their life. Cutty Corner shoutouts. Cutty Corner shoutouts.
It's time. We're burning now.
God, if you listen, help!
So cold and bleeding now.
I'm in for this, man.
Gonna let you down.
He had sex with my mama.
We're broken people now.
Doctor said I need a back.
We lost Jarrett.
Oh, shoot.
Jarrett just dipped out?
Dude, how you gonna play the Cutty Corner shout to start? You usually yell Cutty Corner shout about. I'm over here trying to move fast, like, dang, man, I ain't got my stuff ready. I know I'm probably going first. I ain't got my stuff ready. And then all of a sudden I look up and he ain't around.
Same here. I was looking down. I looked up. I was like, this nigga just disappeared.
Aaron, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Oh, now you back. Don't act like you've been sitting there the whole time. Don't try to. I'm gonna say this. Hey, yeah, I got a Cutty Corner shout out, but I want to let you know Jarrett left for some reason just a second ago and go come back and he gonna try to edit it to make it seem like he was sitting there the whole time. He wasn't. I'm gonna mess it up. I don't care how well he edited. I'm gonna bring it up in the middle of my Cutty Corner shout out so you know his ass left while I'm sitting here ready to go and couldn't leave.
Aaron, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
If Jarrett trying to give a hosting job, just know he might fucking walk out in the middle of the hosting job. Yeah, I got a Cutty Corner shout out, Jarrett. This Cutty Corner shout out go out to, I want to mention Assassin's Creed, right? Now, I'm not a fan of the company that makes Assassin's Creed because they button layouts are kind of fucked up, but they great with concepts. Like
Ubisoft,
bad button layouts, bad everything. They don't execute well. It'll start off well and then the ending, or it just won't. Somewhere you know they're gonna mess up, right? So the Assassin's Creed concept is based on like someone getting kidnapped, some company, some major corporation has a way of like changing the past by finding someone who has some heritage and they hook him up to a reality-based machine where he can control like his ancestor. And they give him all this training where he has all these things and he goes and assassinate people, right? Great concept. So because of this concept, they've been able to parlay this into a bunch of video games, right? They did the pirate one. That was unbelievable. That was actually a game that they executed very well, where the person went and, you know, now they're controlling like one of their ancestors who was a pirate. You're assassinating people. You get to fly the ship. They did one with the Revolutionary War where you were controlling a Native American, right? The video game isn't actually, and that company isn't actually my problem. My problem is they just came out with the new Assassin's Creed game that came out this week, and it's on the Vikings, right? You go back, you become a Viking. Why do we overhype the Vikings? My Cutty Corner shout goes out to people who overhype Vikings, right? Like we act like the Vikings were these hardcore modern day millennial bros. There's television shows on Vikings now. They got the video game now. We overhype Vikings like they were actually some cool people that we should be hyping up, right? Let's be real, man. The Vikings never gave us anything. They weren't like one of those past societies who brought us, you know, revolutionary things like different technology. The Mayans helped introduce us to calendar systems. The Mongols created a paper currency system. They also used the early postal system. Early Indian society brought us our first alphabet kind of system and writing system, right? What did the Vikings bring us? They didn't bring us nothing but a bunch of racist bros. That's all they brought us, right? And shout out to Master Skywalker on Reddit, who did some research and said Vikings is not a race. The race was Norse. Vikings were being a job, right? Let's be honest. All they were a bunch of Scandinavian rapists and pillagers. That's all they did. All they was known for. I guess the job that they had was being a sailor. A Viking was a freaking sailor. It's like, hey man, I'm a Viking. I sailed down to Portugal and Spain and kidnapped people. You know, most Scandinavian people are blonde hair, blue eye. The reason why you see like Norway, where most of the Vikings are from, and Denmark, they're all dark hair because they were so entranced with the Portuguese and Spanish women. They never seen women that look like that. They were in love. So they kept kidnapping and bringing them back up there. That's all they get. I mean, I don't understand. Why do we make idols out of these warriors, right? We don't idolize the Nazi SS. We don't idolize the Russian Gestapo. Look, I'm not part of cancel culture. I'm not saying cancel, you can't do Vikings, but just be real with the shit. I mean, the one technology they did bring, the one thing they did bring in this society, you know, they didn't introduce paper. They didn't introduce basket weaving. I would have been happy if they introduced basket weaving, right? Nah, the one thing they introduced was longboats. And you know what that did? That told the rest of Europe and people in Belgium how to take that shit down to Africa and grab some people and take them on a free ride so you give them a new job in America, right? So fuck the Vikings. Fuck everybody who idolized the Vikings. All they did was throw some axes here and there. Who knows if they were really good? They were going in a village that didn't have fucking soldiers or nothing, right? So it's like, oh man, they was warriors, dude. They was warriors. When they went in there and killed those fishermen and stole their women, that's warrior shit, dude. Fuck the Vikings and everything they represent. The only Vikings we should be worshiping was Randall Cunningham, Randy Moss,
Chris Carter, Jake
Chris
Reed.
Carter, Prince, and Kirby Puckett.
Brandon, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Yes, I do. Besides the show going really long,
yeah,
that should be it. That should be it right there.
This nigga just went on a 10-minute tirade on Vikings.
It was written down, Jared. I had it on. At least you know what the problem is, Jared? I start off drinking adult beverage, and I hadn't eaten in like 6 hours.
No, my Cutty Corner shout out goes out to Dumb Questions Online. This is for specifically Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So I've been seeing it a lot. Just people just bored, not sure how to engage with people online, and they ask questions to things they could really just Google. Like, oh, hey, when does that PS5 drop? Why is that on your timeline right now? Why? Why?
You can put that in Google. The same time you wrote that, you can put it in Google and get the answer.
Exactly. I'm seeing way too much of that. Oh man, I'm trying to get some new shoes. Like when the next Jordans drop or something, like just a whole bunch of dumb stuff, like stuff you could have Googled, but you're just like, oh, I need to also let people know what I'm about to Google right now. And hopefully somebody else somebody else can use their phone. My thumb's too busy to just do this in a different app. Now, it's one thing if you're looking like you're trying to differentiate something, right? Like, hey, should I go with this app or this app when I'm trying to work on something? Oh, hey, what's better, this Samsung tablet or this iPad? Which one should I get, right? Has anybody had any experience with this? Yeah. But it's another thing, just for factual information. Hey, when's this person's birthday? Okay, Google that.
Do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Yeah, man. Shouts out to my Clippers. Even though y'all lost that 3-1 lead, never made it to the conference finals. Pandemic P showed up during the bubble. Kawhi Leonard couldn't make a shot in the fourth quarter. Straight breakdown. Coach gets fired, then leaves the 76ers. Thinking of trading Pandemic P for Russell Westbrook. Thinking of bringing Chris Paul back to the Clippers. So much turmoil. Had a racist owner, then changed that for a billionaire owner that just can't keep his mouth shut, is just too hyped up. I feel like he's on Adderall all the goddamn time. Shouts out to y'all because I'm still here. I still have y'all. I still have faith. Next season, which is coming up in a month. Oh, damn. That is the shortest off season in life. It's our time to shine. We just needed 1 year to get all those kinks out of our systems. When we come back next year, we're going to come back stronger and better than ever. Shouts out to the Clippers. Shouts out to the Kings, too. That's my second favorite team. It's funny how both my teams that are my best teams are pretty horrible teams back in the day, but now they're better. So Clippers, faith on, Clip gang, 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 gang. We got this. That's my shout out.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to California voters. California voters voted yes on a proposition that has a number 22, kind of like a catch-22. They voted yes on Prop 22 overwhelmingly. And it's the ride-sharing proposition that allows Lyft and Uber to still treat their drivers as, contract workers with some added potential protections that they can dictate. They are not held to a standard that the government or the state dictates, which you can argue whether or not the state and the government has the right mandates altogether, but they at least have something. It's not some economically capital-based company who's just trying to make it up as they go along to make sure they keep their margin of income at a certain level. In voting in Prop 22, even though many of the drivers were overwhelmingly for Prop 22 because it allowed them to have flexibility in their schedule, it is a big hit against the labor rights acts and movements that have occurred over generations. And this now can be pushed forward in the state and will be used as a model throughout the country to change potential labor laws and give exemptions to companies that want to skirt around labor laws that protect the goddamn people. That is our show, my friends. That is a show. Any final words you'd like to get out there? Albert, tell us where people can find you and find your interviews and your work.
Yeah, so you can find me on all social medias, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, even though I haven't posted anything on there. I still got one. All that's at Natomas Slimm. That's spelled with 2 M's on the Slim. YouTube, hit up my interviews at Natomas Slimm. Spotify, the Tidal, iTunes, any music site, you get my music at Natomas Slimm. Check out the podcast, the Slim and Task podcast on all streaming sites, and you could check out my radio show, midnight to 6 a.m., which I got it on tonight, so y'all better listen in. I know Jared be listening in. He be trying to he be asking for Sam Cooke. Well, I ain't playing no goddamn Sam Cooke, man.
He's trying to make the truckers go to sleep while driving.
I'm trying to help you out, man. I'm trying to help you expand to an older demographic that's probably definitely not awake at that time.
But yeah, you can listen to me on V101, just on iHeartRadio app. Just search for V101 Sacramento, or on the on your internet, on your phone, just V1011fm.com. That's where you catch me.
All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on, man. Definitely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Y'all long ass show, bro.
This one took longer than normal because I don't know. It was a couple different things.
Jared, you know the problem is, see, Jared, while he stays up late, he wakes up late. Where the rest of us are like, dude, you know what? This is the chunk of the main part of my day gone now, right? Like, I had some shit I thought I was gonna be able to work on for work and other things, and now that's gone. Where Jared is like, this is the beginning of his day. So he's about to peak right now, where the rest of us are like, we were on the show during the peak, and now majority of the day, there's no daylight hour, there's nothing. I still gotta walk the dog. I can't cook dinner.
But I like how long it is. It reminds me of the Joe Rogan podcast and the Joe Budden ones. Their shit be hella long, and you just get hella stream of thoughts and consciousness.
You do. It's great to visit, but when you on here every day, sometimes, you know what, it's a challenge to not hit the leave button.
Well, that is our show, my friends. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the show.
I know it froze. Okay, Montel wins. Well, that is our show. I hope y'all take care. Stay blessed. Stay healthy. And we will leave you with this. Oh shit!
I just don't think the Rockets handled championship expectations well, right? Because that year when they won 7 games with the Warriors, they won 7 games with the best team in the league. Like, why not just all right, cool? Like, what one piece can we do rather than sort of breaking up the team? Like, we need to reconfigure this whole thing. And at some point, they decided they weren't good enough, and they tried to mix it up, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think Houston is done unless they do a real revamping, because what they gave to get Westbrook, and then also with getting rid of Capella and really embracing a super small. They went super small. They had 3 guards. They were running out 3 guards that were under 6'6". James Harden is 6'5". Eric Gordon is 6'4", 6'3". Russell Westbrook's only 6'3". So like there was times where they're running with their center is 6'7" and PJ.
There was times they were running with 4 guards because Austin Rivers was in there.
Yeah.
Austin Rivers said, he did an interview recently. He said, man, it was one point during the Lakers series where they kept running switches and he was guarding Anthony Davis in the post. And he was like, man, what the hell are we doing? That's all he said.
and D'Antoni, that's what I'm saying. You D'Antoni yourself. It's one thing if you're doing something revolutionary and your players don't realize how good they are at something that you have identified, and you maximize it before other teams identify it, or your players are bought in to the point where they understand what they have to do moment to moment based upon what the situation they're always in, because you're playing always in the situation where you're undersized, right? I don't think that those players like were able to adjust to realizing like you got to act like a dog. Like I'm Doc Rivers' son. What's his name again? What's Rivers? Austin Rivers. Like, bro, you playing on a squad where you're like the 4th biggest dude. You gotta play like the 4th biggest dude now. Like when I play pickup, and I think this is something that if you played ball, you played hoop, like you realize like you gotta kind of mix and match how you're gonna play the game. If everyone just goes out there and plays their game in pickup, you're probably gonna get scraped by a better team, obviously, right? But if you go in there and you play certain roles, then you have a chance to, if your talent is less in a pickup game, to take out a better team in a pickup game. That's what the Rockets had to do, but they didn't do that because there's times I play power forward and pickup. Hey man, I don't play like a dog. I'm gonna hack you. I'm gonna play big. I'm gonna make it uncomfortable. Bro, RSF. You know what I'm saying? Aloni Park. You know what I'm saying?
That's also pickup basketball, Jared, where you get to come in, you just call next.
Yeah.
Who got next?
But that's what the Rockets should have been doing. They showed up with a squad as though they just showed up at the park being like, I got next. Like, y'all all got medium-sized people. Okay, we can play a game. Like, they had all medium-sized people, basketball standards-wise, medium-sized people trying to play all the different spectrum of positions. They didn't have anybody who's willing, other than PJ Tucker, but PJ Tucker had to do that because that's the only way he's in the league, is that he's like, whatever you need me to do, coach, I'm going to do it, okay? But now he's been doing it long enough, and the problem is that they've enforced him as being good at what he's not good at and what they have him doing right, that he wants a bigger contract. So now they ain't gonna be able to afford him. He's gonna want to get like $20 million a year for being a mediocre, all right, fringe, tweener, in between guard forward player. But because he's played center, power forward, and small forward, and shooting guard, he has stronger negotiating power because they did some stupid stuff.
All right, hold on. Like I don't really
PJ
get all
Tucker is MAGA.
I don't know why the hate for PJ Tucker, man. I feel like he's one of the guys you should like. Like
PJ Tucker, no, I get you, Brandon. PJ Tucker is a dude. If I was on his team, I would probably love him. If I play basketball with him, I'd be like, I appreciate you, PJ Tucker. I'm still gonna be like, you garbage, but I appreciate you for who you are, and I appreciate what you do. The amount of like what you are willing to do. He is willing to do it. Austin Rivers ain't willing to do it. Derek House Jr. couldn't keep from having a tester come into his room and getting quarantined for an extra 10 days because he wanted to see how fine she was. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't heard that before. You got all these other dudes who weren't willing to do it. Eric Gordon, even Russell Westbrook. You expect motherfucking James Harden to play power forward and be a dog, be an enforcer in the post, in the paint? No, but you need that. You need somebody who's gonna play, who's gonna make him earn it in the post. You need somebody who's gonna make him earn it. If you don't have that, It's just like having a hockey team without an enforcer. Shout out to the Sharks. For 20 years, they never had an enforcer. They ain't had no grit, no grind. And if they did, it was some dudes who were soft and past their prime. And that's why they never won a title. Sponsorship.
Anyway, and shout out to PJ Tucker, man. I'm just looking at his stats here, man. He got drafted by Toronto. He played in Israel. He played in the Ukraine. He played in Greece. He played in Germany.
No, respect to PJ Tucker. Respect to PJ Tucker.
And then he got back in the league. I feel like whatever he's doing, whatever they ask him to do, shout out to PJ Tucker, who's really who really worked for it. Because maybe people would just be like, all right, just stay in Germany.
Thank you.
They wouldn't have been good enough to like try to come back and play in the league again.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, I give it. No, I'm hating on PJ Tucker and I'm who riding him, right? But at the same time, I respect what PJ Tucker has done to stay in the league and maintain his position. I also understand that he went to a place that was going to use him in a way that was going to maximize his ability, but also it was going to sell him false hope.
Yeah.
This fool thinks he's like, I ain't get paid enough. Like, bro, do you know what you're able to do? Like, just because you're willing to do that, don't mean you was good at it.
That's like, you know what? PJ Tucker's that house slave that like, you know what? It's that house slave that's willing to do everything like Steven in Django, right? He's willing to do everything the master say. So then all of a sudden, but unlike Steven, all of a sudden PJ Tucker like, you know what? Can I get a room in the big house? I mean, it could be in the bottom or back of the big house. Can I get a room? It's like, no, dude, no. The reason we have you here is because you're willing to do everything without question, right?
Well, all right, so like looking at the Houston Rocket team, 2017, 2018, that he joined, right? At power forward, they had Ryan Anderson. At center, they had Tariq Black. They had Clint Capella. They had Nene. They had Anuaku.
Read me the whole team.
Zhao Key. They had PJ Tucker and they had Brandon Wright. He did not sign up to be the
Read
center.
the rest, Brandon. At that point, PJ Tucker was happy to make the team, right? And then they realized, hey, he worked hard. He don't complain about anything like we had. Man, like we had him do this. He don't complain. Guess what? We can keep growing smaller and smaller. Even Ryan Anderson, who wasn't like a big post up or he could rebound well and he's an outside shooter, but he was still 6'10", right?
Right.
They just kept getting smaller. Like, hey, man, PJ ain't complaining. We had him guarding this guy. It probably started in the practice where they had him guarding somebody 6'7", probably 7 feet. And he never complained. He did hard. And they're like, dude, we can just keep getting smaller and smaller. He
gonna be out there grinding. He gonna be out there. You know, PJ Tucker is the dude who, when they saw them bring in Clint Capella, he probably said this:
"Who this nigga on that name?"
Exactly.
Dude, seriously.
No, but he is like 4 inches shorter than Draymond Green. If he was 4 inches taller, he'd be Draymond Green.
No, he's
PJ Tucker got the skills of Draymond Green, Jarrett. How you feel about that, Jarrett?
I'm not gonna even say anything about that blasphemy. I'm not gonna give it attention. I'm gonna do my part. Just like when I want to boycott something, I'm gonna boycott Brandon's. I'm gonna boycott that statement by Brandon. I'm not gonna show it.
I'm just saying.
But I'm with Jarrett. On his understanding of PJ Tucker, right? That every fan of teams have that guy on your team that you like him because he's scrappy, he work hard, he really not the most talented, right?
Yeah.
And PJ Tucker happened to be one of those people that you're like, you know, if he on my team, I can respect him for what he's gonna bring.
PJ reminds me of my Indian homie from high school who played power forward, who was shorter than me in basketball on our freshman team.
Damn. Come on, man. He's shorter than you playing power forward, so he couldn't dribble at all.
No, dude. So he played like youth hoops. I didn't play basketball till I got to high school. I didn't play organized ball till I got to high school. You could tell he had like the practice of playing youth hoops, and he was big. He's an Indian dude. He's a big barrel chest. He's kind of like, you know, wide body, but not tall. He's like my height, and he played power forward the way we needed somebody to play power forward. He would bang with dudes who are a foot taller than him. He wasn't afraid to foul hard, and fools would get frustrated. He would get in their head. He would foul them hard. He would push them in the back. He would do everything we needed him to do as an undersized power forward that was willing to play the position. Shout out to VJ Dots sponsorship. Come on our show. Shout out to your sister, your twin sister. She's dope too. Sandia sponsorship. Come on our show. But like he would bang, and like that's what PJ Tucker is. PJ Tucker was a dude who ended up being an NBA sized body, undersized for the positions they're asking him to play, but understanding that you want me to play this, I'm gonna play this way because I'm undersized and I need to make an impact that transcends what my physical limitations are. And that's what PJ Tucker attempts to do. Is he good at it? Not really. Is he have the heart to do it and is he willing to do it? Yes. So therefore I respect it.
Just all I said was.
Don't get me started on PJ Tucker.